Who's disturbing me? I just caught me having a little cat nap in my lovely Mk3. Come inside and have a look, let's see what it's all about. It's absolutely wrecked! It's gonna be a gull wing, look! Oh shit! Okay guys, carrying on with part 33, little intro there. Hope we had some fun with the intro. We're back on. We saw that. We didn't see cylinder head on 32. I've just lifted that on now. And I used 2 guide bolts, so 2 of the cylinder head bolts with the heads cut off and a slot cut into the top of the bolt, so I was able to put the head gasket on first. There's not really much to see. You saw the top of the block on the earlier video, so we laid down the head gasket, then the head's just come back to have it's had its valve seats hardened for unleaded, spray bar to fit there. We've got to mod that spray bar, I'll talk about that in a minute. So with the 2 bolts sticking out the block with the heads cut off, you're able to just drop everything on top and lines it up for you. Then I put the rest of the bolts and just nipped them for now. So we've got the head gasket on there. Then gasket on for the inlet manifold. You can see it there, the blue gasket there. The waterway that runs from the cylinder block into the water channels in the manifold. You put a little bit of gasket seal around that. You don't want that water tracking across. I went over this with blue and then nipped it up. So we put new studs on to the cylinder head. 2 studs on the cylinder head on the inlet side anyway. 1 stud there and 1 there. And that allows you to then slide on our pre-prepared inlet manifold. You saw us in earlier videos doing this, so that slides into there. Then you're using bolt fixings to get through into the cylinder head. Just there. One of them slightly longer, that's the one which supports the eye lifting hook. That bolt's slightly longer. You'd have to work it out. I didn't measure these, but you're going to have to, when you're building, make sure you keep them. So 2 stud fixings, 2 13mm head bolts for the inlet manifold, some gasket sealant round, paying particular attention to that water outlet on the block where the water, or the inlet on the block where the water's pumping in, okay, or pumping out, depending on the flow, but there's certainly water there. Going across to this side then, another engine hook there you can see, and look, we've been busy. We've dug out of stores the pre-prepared ceramic coated manifold. This was a new old stock manifold that was ceramic coated. We did that ages ago. See the advantages of having your stuff in stock, you see. Plate there which we had also ceramic coated. It was a second-hand plate but it was in good order. I just give it a bit of a clean up and we're good to go there. So that's a ceramic finish as well. The manifolds held on with 8 studs this side, all new ones. Put the studs in, 2 bolts on them to wind them into the block. They don't have to be tightly in. There's a collar on them which stops them going too far in. Then just a little bit of gasket paste, and then a gasket for each exhaust outlet port. This one's different. Those three are all the same. That one different. So then we nip that up, and then we torque those up to the right setting with the torque wrench. We'll be using the torque wrench a bit more soon. So it starts to look like an engine quite quick. I didn't film me actually dropping the head on, sorry about that. It's just I didn't have the camera yesterday with me, so we did this in an afternoon. But there's plenty more bits we can be bolting on today. We need to put some spark plugs in there. I'd like to put some spark plugs in there just so nothing lands inside the engine. It just keeps the things blocked up. I don't want anything going in there. You know, if a bolt went flying off across the unit or something, I just want to get the plugs into these. Power steering pump, I think we saw that's back on now. I was painting that last time I left you. That's now back on, satined up and looking nice and smooth. So our assembly is coming together at the front now. Let's just step back a little bit for you so we can start to see almost finished. Then belts in exact line. We don't want them out of line. So the next job, we're going to enlarge the spray bar. Look, the spray bars were a known failure point on these because these little holes in the spray bar got blocked up. If you're rebuilding your engine, you're learning like I am. Well, there's a tip. A lot of people already know it, but the oil comes out of this little hole here. It's forced up into the bearings of the camshaft, and then it manages to get out of one of those holes there, and it feeds oil into this lubricating bar or spray bar, and that puts little jets of oil onto each lobe of the cam and keeps the cam lubricated. So that sprays oil over your camshaft, but they block up. The trick is to slightly enlarge the holes and then they run a bit better. We'll do that later. Inlet manifolds, straightforward really. We're missing a couple of adapters. We need this type adapter here for our vacuum pickup for the automatic box, and that's for the brake servo, but we don't want the second outlet on this. We're going to have to blank that off because that's a dual output. I couldn't find one just like that. I might have one, but it's mucky. I might be alright actually. Need to just work out the remainders of the pipes. This one's going down to, I think that's going down to the oil catcher. Let me just check that. Bit of fuel pipe coming onto here because we're going to start. We're going to place the carburetor on as well and get that distance. So we've got the fuel pipe. The name of the game is to try and get the engine so it's ready to start up. So in this video, a lot of it's going to be engine building, finishing off the engine for you, and a trip down to the automatic gearbox place. All sorts going to be going on. I'm not quite planned out in my head what's going to be happening in this film. We'll just let it unfold and see what happens. But for now, let me carry on. Let's get, what should we get? What should we do? Jim, curious do. Eccles cakes, engines, cam bars, spray bars, oil filters. Go back, get the carburetor, finalise these fixings there, get a bit of fuel pipe, fix that spray bar. Plenty to do. Let's get to work. Before we get to work, I cleaned up the block face because Warren had painted over my engine number, but I didn't want it painting over. I wanted the engine number exposed. So I made a nice clean panel for the engine number, and I think you'll agree that looks nice and factory. There's a little bit of lacquer over it so it doesn't rust, but that leaves us where we want to be with a nice little detailed stamping there for the engine block. Going up to the logbook to check. I'd be worried if that was wrong. I think it's right. I think we checked that on earlier films, didn't we? Why they put 1998 when it's a 2 litre? Maybe that. Oh no, that is the capacity. Where are we? BAB FLJ 34464. You know, people say, "Oh, you can't reveal your chassis number. Someone cloned the car," but you just go to a car show and write it down. Makes no odds. BAB FLJ 34464. Lovely. So that makes it all nice and detailed and correct. We can fit. I know what we can do. Let's do this as well. The thermostat. Let's go and finalise that thermostat. I'll talk you through the thermostat housing because there's a certain way it goes together, and we'll get some sealant on that. You might notice that this face got painted. That was an accident. I wanted to keep it bare metal. It's okay. I don't think the thermostat's going to foul up because there's some paint on there. Okay, moving on. Thermostat next, definitely. The Blitzkrieg Bob. Okay, thermostat housing. A nice one. This is a Burton one. I like these because they don't corrode and go all horrible. Hard to get all the good quality thermostat housings that's not going to let your engine bay down. I like to use these. I think they look smart. I've just assembled the thermostat bulb. It's just in there. Ladle clip just holding it in. Spring towards the engine, I think. double check this. I think that's right. Rubber gasket, rubber O-ring just underneath it that this sits on, and then this pressure retaining spring, squeeze it in, pop, and that's it. Now that's a good fit. If your thermostat housing's breaking down, what can happen is, just hold on, I'm going to continue this, let me just pop that spring out, I'll show you what happens. Spring just pops out. Watch out for this on your old thermostat housings or ones where it's a loose fit. Just take that off. That rubber gasket there, I've seen this happen, it happened on Swampy. What happens is, it's not a tight fit between this and that inner lip, and the spring isn't really rattling it, this is moving a little bit, but what happens is, the water, this rubber breaks down, and the water pushes it inwards like that, and I've found them when I've opened them up, this all deformed and sticking up there, and it doesn't create the temperature for the engine, it overcools, so you find you're running cool all the time. The temperature setting on the stats is just underneath. In this case here we've got mostly the same. I think this is an 86 degrees, no, 88 degrees, right in the middle of the bulb there. Look, coming in, don't use the zoom a lot, but will it focus? Everyone says that, 88 degrees. But what I was trying to say was that this rubber collapses and the water then's coming in out this way all the time instead of being shut off till it heats up, because this heats up, opens and lets water through, and that starts to cool into the radiator. So watch out for that. See how that is not the best fit. There's not much to stop it doing this inside, really. I've seen it happen. I've seen it where it's pulled the rubber and distorted it. It's come out like this shape, like that, and all the water was pouring past this. Wasn't doing anything because all the water was getting past it round the lip like that, pulled up at the edge because the clip was loose. So water's just coming right past straight away. I noticed that when you took the radiator cap off, water was flowing straight away instead of waiting till it's opened. Not great amount, but it was still flowing past it. So I'm going to watch, keep my eye on that. On Swampy, what I did, and it's never gone wrong since, I put gasket sealer on there, sat that on there, then just used the rubber as a packing piece to raise the clip level like this. So we were on Swampy, we're set up like this. You can do it with one hand, this. See, that's how Swampy is, which has worked better for me because I get a better seal on the thermostat. Now I know that they have a sort of pressure relief hole. I think there's always a little bit of water gets through. I don't think it's a complete shutdown, but that might only be just to stop pressure build up, I don't know. But I've got that set up that way on Swampy, and the gauge always sits just under half, just a little click under half, and it's never gone wrong since. Prior to that I was getting cold heaters all the time. First thing you notice is your heaters are red hot on your feet. I can always tell when the engine's running good for me in terms of the temperature, other than just looking at the gauge, in terms of the flow rate and stuff. Your heater core is nice and hot. But it was never getting like burny feet situation. As soon as I did this mod, by flipping it round, putting gasket sealer on that side, I got burny feet, which is what I wanted. So, little tip. Hope it works for you. When you're doing that, bear it in mind that you can do it that way round. If your rubber's all distorted, you can still use it, set it on gasket sealer, flip it round onto the top side of this, and then clip that in. Just comments on that, see what you think. Carburetor next, fuel pipes. Okay, I've got a new old stock spray bar. Now, looking at it, it's about a 1mm diameter holes. This is your spray bar, which fits just up the top there like that. So we want to check that it's flowing nicely. I'm just going to put some compressed air through it. If you've got yours, get it in some cleaning solution, some gunk, some degreaser, then blast through. Just put your air nozzle right in the middle and blow it out just like that by putting that in there. If you suspect that these are too small, you can enlarge them. These are around 1mm, it'll be 1.25mm. Now this may be a modified bar here that they changed the diameter later on because some were blocking up and getting oil starvation on the cam. But I think this one's okay. I've satisfied myself, it's coming out and it's clean, so I'm going to fit that as it is. I'm not going to modify this. Just compared it with an injection head spray bar, and this is the same diameter hole, so I don't think by the time they'd hit the injection engine they would have known about this fault. So this looks identical to the one I've got on the injection head, so I'm going to stick with this one, but I'm just going to blast it out anyway. Here we go. Spray bar bolted in. Okay, thermostat housing gasket going on. The blue first. The blue. We'll stick that on. Get the blue on. Okay, guys, we're going on with our stat house. I'll just get the bolt in it. You won't see this just yet. Walk on. Walk on. Right, we got that. Woo. Nipped up for thermostat housing. Okay, next customer please. I think, who should we do next? Who should we pick next? We've already got our hose clips and everything in place for this. Who should we pick next? Let's have a look. Carburetor perhaps, and then get some pipes running from the fuel pump up to the carburetor intake, so that's boxed off. We need to be torquing up these head bolts too. We'll get the torque wrench out soon. Now we've got this little fella. He can go on. His cam cover bolt. Pop him in there. Tensioner wheel. We're going to need to get the cam belt. There's an error I've made as well, guys. This is a 1600 cam belt, which is shorter by 2 teeth, I think. Simply because I think the block is shorter, which explains the cam cover discrepancy. So your 600 block, I believe, is a little bit shorter, consequently the head's lower down, consequently the cam belt on the 16 is shorter. So we need a 2 litre cam belt, which is on order. We're waiting for that to come in. In the meantime, we'll just have to, it doesn't matter if we have to take stuff off again, we're just getting all the parts in one place so that we know if there's anything missing. And that's really what we're up to with this object today. So by the end of today you should see it sort of in one place bar the cam cover, because the other 2 litre cam cover I've got has been sent away for powder coating on the RAL 5010 code, as have the locking bar for the bracket, the adjusting tensioner bracket for the alternator, and the support brackets for our power steering pump there. I put a service sticker on the inside which is going to write down our miles on the engine. It's just better than having it on the slam panel. You can have it on the slam panel, or we could use this Ford service sticker for the power steering fluid, but I believe you don't really need to change power steering fluid very often. We'll check that and see what the mileage schedule is on it. Looking nice so far, I'm sure you'll agree at home. Join us, keep those comments coming in. We appreciate the comments in part 32. We had some good interaction on that. I think you enjoyed that film. Let's hope I can make this one equally enjoyable for you as we continue our way through the afternoon. Sit back there, make yourself another tea if you've not already, and let's together go through this Pinto 2 litre with power steering rebuild for Ruby part 33. Welcome aboard as usual. I know we're a few minutes in, of course, but still, why not welcome you on board? Spanners in hand. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. Okay, Pinto build for Weber carburetor, new out of the box from Weber, with the new unleaded, new ethanol, horrible new fuel gaskets already in it, so it doesn't need any conversion. So straight out of the box for this lovely Weber unit. Let's get that on. We need that heat insulating plate. Go and find that now, and we'll offer that up, see what it looks like, and get that fuel pipe cut. They're just too good, those cakes. I'm going to film those cakes, they're that good. See, you need Eccles cakes, that's what you need. Got to get your Eccles cakes. Exciting, spark plugs going in. Very excited. all nice shiny bits. Some NGKs going in. We'll get those fitted. We've got a very nice surprise soon. New Ford ignition leads. Oh yeah. Let's get those soon as well. Carburetor just there. We're missing the heat shield bracket for the carburetor, the plastic sandwich plate which it sits on. We'll find one.
Brady died last night, more than 50 years since he and Mike Inlet murdered 5 children on the moor. The body of one of the victims has never been found. Chief Inspector Ian Hastings from the Police Federation. He grew up in the part of Manchester where Brady took his kids.
There's wrong with him. He was a monster of life. He's died. Doesn't make him any better. He's the embodiment of evil. He brought misery on many people. He's now an absolute victim.
The 16-year-old girl has been found.
Just assembling the spark plug leads now. We've got a nice original Ford Motorcraft spark plug lead set with the right coloured spark plug caps and markings on the cables. See there. 2 plug identifier labels missing. We'll get them remade in heat proof labelling material. I'll show you how we do that later on. Just guiding the plugs through the mounting block for the top of the cam. So one more to go in, just getting the routing correct. We'll thread this final one in. We've just put some silicone grease on there just to keep everything supple again. Gives it a shine and makes everything move easier. Exciting time. So we're just mocking up. It's not all stuff's come back off again. That's that uncoated cam cover, the 2 litre one, showing that it fits in the right place and everything's in order there, so we're looking good. Looking forward to getting our 2 litre cam cover back from the powder coaters. There's some fuel pipe on, we're just missing some clips. There's the flying saucer inline filter, there he is. Just a couple of clips. We've got some clips in stock, let's go and find those in a minute. The right pipe clips for that we'll be looking for. Then we're looking for some upright supports for the air filter, the air cleaner. We can sit the air cleaner on and just see how it's all looking. Name of the game is just to see what, if any, parts I'm short of. So continuing on with spark plug installation. Off we go and over to the distributor cap there, the Bosch distributor this time. There he is. Okay, plenty been going on since the last update. Just an hour or 2 ago we went for the flying saucer, we went for the hose clips for the fuel line there. You see those squeezy in hose clips there. We've lacquered those because they tend to rust. We don't want them rusting out on us, so they've got lacquer on. Could have galvanised them. I wish I'd have dropped them in the galv tank, to be fair. Ignition lead, I left you off. We're just doing the ignition lead. Cleaner box on top there. We found the interconnecting hose that goes from the automatic choke round to the hot water pickup. Now, I can't find any elbows that fit this thread size. All the ones I've got are of a smaller thread. You can see with this plastic bung that I found that it's just a bit too small. This one that I've got is the wrong type, but they're proving difficult to track down. They're on eBay that size, no problem. We've got the vac pickup for the oil catcher box, that's in. Just needs a hose clip on that. I'm not going to use the spring clips for that. I'm going to use a hose clip because it needs to be a really good connection. You don't want to risk an air leak there. It'll cause the idling to run rough. Also, you've got your automatic gearbox vac pickup and the brake servo pickup there. That's fitted in. That's that 2-piece one that I found and cleaned up. Going round this side, wrong cam cover. But don't worry about that for now. Air cleaner on, air cleaner brackets located with the correct oval shaped rubber bungs in them to house that air cleaner. Accelerator bracket setup. We're missing a couple of things off this. We've got the return spring found and fitted. We're just needing, we've got the collar that holds the end of the accelerator cable on. We've bolted it in position. We're just looking for the centralised boss which goes through that actuating rod and the end clip to secure it into the throttle body itself. We're missing that. We need to get a few of those, but we're nearly there. There's a few parts missing. Exhaust manifold on, as you saw. Those ignition leads taking their route across, so we're beginning to look almost done. just a few small little trim clips and things, and then a couple of hoses to find, and then the engine's built. We'll be picking up this cam cover. We've got the decal kit on it, this 2 litre HC logo, and the build code sticker courtesy of Mark Fury. So yes, that's what we did today. I'll get back onto it tomorrow. Been a couple of hours on it today, just working out things. So we're looking like a complete pinto very soon. Here we are on the floor. I'm getting tired today. I don't know, because of an early start, so I'm tiring. It's 7 PM. It's a Tuesday. It's somewhere in the middle of May. And I'm a touch tired. I've been on this all day, putting all the bits together for this lovely engine. Found 95% of the parts I've managed to find, but at the last minute my super duper parts filing systems failed me on a few little clips, but I don't think I've done too bad considering the stuff gets scattered across the universe. But I'm hungry, I'm tired, so I need to go back and just have a rest. But I'm enjoying this. So we've got a lovely engine built there, and we've got a lovely clip sitting next to it. All the work, all the videos you've been watching, it all pays off. You can tell I'm tired because my voice starts to go. That's inevitable, really. I really like the way things have turned out so far on this. All the systems are coming into place. We've just got to go and torque everything up, and we've got a camshaft to fit yet. There's no camshaft in there. That's on its way in the post from Burton's. The high torque at the low end camshaft. Spray bars in. We've got to torque the head bolts down, fit the camshaft. Camshaft tensioner and belt needs fitting. They're on the way as well. So I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to log off for tonight. As always, for you it's only a few minutes. So we'll see you in a few minutes. For me, it's 24 hours. This is Cortina City. See you in a sec. Hang on guys, hold on. Good song, good song. Good song. Okay, let's get right back. That little mini time warp I was telling you about, I was on the floor, just down there, quite tired last night. It gets late. 7 in the morning till 8 at night, 9 at night, 10 at night. But you know we don't watch telly. And we still get time to go to the gym, keep fit, socialise. Everything else is crammed in. It's a crammed in diary, but we do make sure that we juggle all our responsibilities in life as much as we can. There's bills to pay, there's things to look after, people to see, socialise, family, friends, wives, all of those things still have to be juggled around. I just about managed to do it. Okay, so back from a call. I'm back on the engine now. I've been busy. Stabiliser bars have gone in. We talked about those. I just picked them up from the powder coaters. It's a stabilising bar, solid, pretty solid, thick bar. You know, as thick as a roll bar in the car. And then a longer stud bolt replaces your normal 13-headed bolt. That goes in, and the bar slots on with a beefy washer, so you can get a nice squash, and the washer doesn't bend. So a nice thick washer for it, and tighten that up. And away you go. Up at the top you've got a double affair, a 17mm and another beefy washer, and then at the back of that the stabilising bar going the opposite way, held on with again a 17 but part of the engine plate, alternator and power steering plate. So that completes that part. You'll see this banjo fitting here, that's going to need its little rubber seal. I've left it out, it's just hand tight on that banjo for the power steering. That's been galvanised as well, just because it was looking a bit tired. So we have that done, ready for power steering, and there's the low pressure side as well. We need to get the right hose clip for that. It looks like Ford did do Ford style hose clips for various applications, so we'll be using one of those because you can't use a grip clip on one of them. talked about and saw the spark plugs. There's the accelerator cable. We've attached that. I'm going to take you around and show you the accelerator cable attachment. I'm also going to put the light on. I haven't been using it. This camera has been pretty good to me in terms of low level lighting, but let's get a boost. I don't want to overexpose, but this will help. As you can see, it instantly brings it to life under this brighter light. So here we have the carburetor now mounted. A gasket, then the heat plate, then the gasket. I used Blue Holomar, non-setting, and then copper slip on the face of the carburetor, because I'm going to be taking it off and on. I don't want that sticking to a dry gasket, because I wouldn't put gasket sealing between the carb and the gasket, because you've got to take it off and on. So that's just squash fitting on. Fuel clips, you see them there, and they're going onto the carburetor. Then there's a flying saucer. We did talk about that yesterday. The new things today are that I've repaired the water inlet. If you remember, on the very early series of videos, I don't know how far I went back with it. It's going to be halfway back on our series. We had to die grind out the old tap. When I say the old tap, I'm going to tap on the tap. That's a new one. That's a right angle. The Cortinas come with a 45 angle on them, but this right angle one suited the pipe that I had, and is also brand new. But what happened is the casting, the inlet manifold casting, you can never unscrew these without them ripping out. And, well, you can, but a lot of them rip out. Mine snapped, so I had to die grind out. When I die ground out, I was ready to receive a new tap. But you can't seem to find them, or if you can, they're all stripped and broken and corroded. So the new ones that you can get at the moment on eBay are of a smaller diameter. However, what I've found is there's a brass adapter available which you can screw into the engine block. I use some resin, a 2-part resin bonding compound which sets like rock into the threads and locked it in place, and then PTFE, and then the inner bush face of this, the size adapter, goes down to the right size and happens to fit this. It's plumber's merchant, you can get them from, so that's good. It's just a reducer. So out into the elbow, and there's our shaped heater hose pipe. These have got the built-in curves in them, so that one goes up and round. They're hard to get hold of. I was lucky with that one. Although that one, I think, slightly different car, but the profile, the curves worked. I had to cut a little bit off the end. That one's right coming out of the automatic choke. That's the automatic choke, by the way, just in case you're not familiar with it. It's a coil inside here that gets hot. It works off the fact that hot water flows past it on its route to the heater matrix. And as it goes over this bimetallic coil, the coil expands and creates a lever in action on a pivoting pin and bar, which opens the flaps of the carburetor. These are the choke flaps here. They will slowly begin to open on this lever there, based upon the temperature of the auto choke. You can set it by one click on the accelerator. When you park your car up after a long drive, the flaps choke will be left like that. So in the morning, if you didn't press your accelerator, they still remain open. In other words, they don't close on their own. They close up when cold, when you give it a blip on the throttle, and that controls the fast idle as well. We'll talk about that when we're running up the engine. Next, I've greased up these points. There's the pivot points. We've got the bracket in which secures the accelerator rod. That's a little cage bracket that snaps into position there with some grease on it. We've greased up the carburetor face, pivot points. Little plastic insert here, can be hard to get hold of. They are on eBay from time to time. Don't lose those. Luckily I found mine. I thought I'd lost it. I found it. Clips in, and it's a bushing, a plastic bushing for the accelerator rod. The accelerator rod then, coming up, you've got a return spring here. That's a piece of plastic sleeve with an overspring on it, and that's just to pull your accelerator taut and back. I'm trying to get it because the hose is in the way. So a nice new one of those, that helps assist bringing the throttle closed. Accelerator cable just at the back, not a new one, it's the only one I had, but I got it cleaned up. The little rubber gate is a bit split at the top. We need to work on that. A new fitting and spire clip at the bottom, not spire clip, sort of saddle clamp. There's a ball and socket at the end of your accelerator, clips onto the ball here. Then you put a collar over it, which has got a little slit out, and it just snaps into position, and that locks that on. So that's the accelerator section done. 2 brackets, 2 bolts. Sorry, 1 bracket, 2 bolts to mount it. Here's our vac pickup for the brake servo, and the vac pickup for the gearbox. There's our oil separator can for the PCV here. So we go up, and that pipe's shaped to take that there. I hope that's right. I'm not going to say that it's definitely correct. I hope that's right. Alright, there's a little bit of grease and stuff to wipe off the engine. I've been greasing up. So you saw the other parts. So just a bit better view on this section with the higher powered lamp. That's where we got up to. We've now got the other cam cover in place, so we can back from stores, so we can put that in place. Okay, and also we've got the pulley for the tensioner. This is how they work. Quite often people don't know how these are set up. I'll show you. There's a special splined socket here, which the tool for it, I'm going to go down and show you the tool. We're slowly going down to the ground level. This is the tool for that. It's not quite like a Torx bit. Well, it is like a Torx bit. It is a Torx bit. It's sort of like a Torx bit, but I heard it was a specialist tool that you had to buy just specifically for this job, and that you couldn't get it, but you probably can get that in Torx format. But this one's a funny shape. Look at this, like a collared shape. Now what that's for is this goes into this bolt. That bolt's got the Torx shape in it. The bolt goes through that tensioning spring. The tensioning spring collapses between the outer pin of the tensioner wheel faceplate and uses the top mounting bolt for the cam cover to rest against and pinch itself up. Then on the left you've got an adjustable 13mm. What happens is you push this wheel back to the left under the force of the spring, so you start to compress that spring when you push this back. If you're to let go, it just ping back to the right of your screen, so it's always trying to push back to the right. At the moment it's locked in position midway, so you tension it up. You can use a bar or your hand, push against it, then lock the 13mm in position with this loose. This one's got to be loose. Then you fit your cam belt. Then when your cam belt's on, you just release the 13 a little bit, and then this will spring into position. Then you nip that up, and you nip that up. I think you just turn it actually a few turns on the engine by manually cranking it with a 19mm on the end of the crank bolt, and then I think you nip it all up. It'll tell you how to do that exactly in the book, but I've seen some with just bolts there, just a bolt there and a bolt there. So they might have done away with this system at some point. This tensioning system may have been done away with later on the cars, but I've got it all there. I may not be using this tensioner pulley wheel because I think that by dipping it in the galvanising process it will have damaged the bearings on it, so I've ordered a new one. I've just fitted that to make sure I've got all the parts that I need. So looks like I've got all the parts that I need. I'm going to have to go down wiping the engine down because I've sort of oversprayed grease and things. We can clean that up later, blast some air over it as well, and go around with some nice clean cloths and clean up. We'll wait for the cam to arrive. That should arrive tomorrow. When the cam arrives, I can push it through the back of the head. It'll come out from the front here, then we lock it in position. I don't know how yet. I've never fitted a cam, so I'm looking forward to learning about fitting a cam tomorrow. Back of the Weber carburetor now, you can see the hose clips securing those nice pipes, so we've kept it original using the right clips. And you can see the galvanised mounting bolts, the 13mm heads with the built-in washers on them. They're the best to use. It's a bit tricky bolting the carburetor down. Getting in here, I use a 13mm ring spanner. Best to wind them on with your fingers as far down as you can, and then finish off. You can use an angled socket here for this side. I had to use a 13mm, but just keep repositioning the 13mm to get to this box. But quite tight, that bolt at the end. In fact, you can't even see it here. You can just about there. Middle of your screen now. So it's a bit tricky getting to that one. You've got to use a spanner. Short 13 is the best. You may be able to get a compact ratchet 13, but it'd have to be quite a low profile head 13mm ratchet inbuilt. You see those spanners that have got the inbuilt ratchet in them. That might work. So that's a tight one, that bolt. That completes what I've done today. There was a lot of looking for bits, and there was a lot of working out how I was going to repair this, but it looks like we're done. That looks pretty good, and that stuff sets like rock, so I'm not anticipating any of the damaged threads that were done when we die grinded it coming back, because the epoxy should set, and this wound in on a 22mm quite nicely. So we just need a hose clip for here, and I think we are good to go on a lot of the stuff now. What I try and do when I'm building this is try and visualize the engine firing up and the process it'd go through. So I think fuel, air, points, ignition, spark plug, and that takes me through mentally in my head what I'm going to need if anything's missing. So you got to think, right, you know, because you just want to get all the parts searching out of the way so you can move on to other jobs. Okay, so stepping back and just giving you a demo of that. Nearly done then for engine build. We need to see it with the cam cover on and with the correct timing belt on. They should both arrive tomorrow. Once I put the timing belt on, I'm going to go around and nip up all the bolts, and then I can leave the engine then knowing it's ready for firing up once the cam's on. So we're just a few more things to do. Another day on that if all the parts are here and we could be ready. We need to learn how to put the cam in though. I might need some help with that. We'll have to see what happens. I've got the book, so I can always follow that through. So we need to be getting the cam on. Okay, so moving on to another task now. It'll be tomorrow for you. Guys, 2 litre cam cover going on. And here's those bolts I was telling you about, just so you know, because we know this is all also for anyone in the Mark III Club. We welcome them aboard as well. Mark III Owners Club. We're now linked in with the site there, so if you've got a Mark III, you're not in the club, why not think about going over to the Mark III Owners Club and having a look. I'll put a link up on the top of the page. A washer there with a larger diameter than normal middle to the washer, that's so it can get over the collar of the bolt. This is the securing bolt for the cam cover. So look at that, it's got that shoulder on it, or that collar, 10mm head, then a washer to fit over the collar and into these rubber grommets that we go. Alright, we've put the insulating foam on the back, stop it rattling. That's the strip of foam that fits in the recess of the back of the cam cover. You saw us do it on the 600 one in episode 32. So we'll push these in, nip them up, and then we're going home. Okay, so then we'll stand back and look at that. We've got the build sticker as well on the top, the series sticker, whatever, with a 4. I've seen all different letters here. Again, Mark Fewy helped us with this one. I've got some made in A, but Mark's done some better ones with E. Larger font. Mine were a too small a font, the ones I did. Swampy gets the letter A, but I think Mark's are better. We thank him for that. We don't know what they're for. We think it's something to do with maybe the year, the month, the day, the plant, the production line, something like that. They were stuck on there. We've seen all different letters, although they seem to stop around the L mark, M mark. I've not seen any beyond that letter. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I don't know. I'm train spotting these at the moment. How sad is that? I like to get the details though. I like any minute detail I can get my hands on. I enjoy it. It's part of the condition. So turns into those lovely little collars we had fitted at the back. You see the collar bolt there. Look, see it? It's going to make contact with that now. We'll fit that. And then that's it for tonight. We'll catch you again in just a few minutes. As always, 24 hours for me. A quick clip of the cam belt cover in place and I'll step back from the engine. Hold on. ABC, look of love. Got the 80s on at the moment. 10mm on a long bar for me, thank you very much. Oh yeah! Forgot to tell you about the alternator securing brackets now in a lovely powder coated finish. And our hose guard down the bottom there, which prevents the hose from hitting the bottom of the dual dual pulley belts. If you've got power steering, these are in a different place, and you've got to keep that hose away from those belts, and that's what that plate does there. So it's a little bracket which fits to the alternator, and that stands the hose back and just keeps it out of the way from rubbing on those hoses, causing a big problem if it did. So yeah, alternator clamped up, securing brackets and everything on for the power steering, all feeling really solid, and the cam cover there feeling really solid. Nice grip. So let's stand back, air filter on, feast your eyes on a Pinto, trying to get as close to factory as I can. Oh, nice. Yes, get some still shots and then we will get away, I promise. Although you don't want me to, you want me to stay here all night, but I can't, you know. You've got to go to bed, I've got to go to bed, we've got to sleep, we've got Eccles cakes to eat, you know. Even though the music's good and the sights are superb, as we take you around the engine on this little almost complete guided tour on Cortina City. I'm hoping you're having a nice evening so far, whatever you're up to. We hope that this is good entertainment, better than TV, some say. I don't know about that, it's up to you to decide. We appreciate the comments, they keep on rolling in, and I'm learning from your comments as well, because it's like having tutors and online. It's like the Open University, this for Cortinas. Brilliant. You've got the people who are just in it for the entertainment, we welcome them. They might not have a car, but they're interested in classics, that's great. You've got the experts, you've got the time-served engineers. Just everyone out there. Everything that comes through is just positive and superb and constructive. And that's what I like. You know, I'm learning. I don't know everything, I never purport to do. But I enjoy learning. And I enjoy the help that I get from my YouTube subscribers and followers, and anyone I meet anywhere along the way on the life super journey. One day, soon, it's going to be firing up. Good night for now. Guys, just driving back from doing that engine build. Between the new video, hold on a sec, let me just switch. Between the new video, I thought, why not give you a music video with one of my favourite bands, Marillion, a great rock band, and there's a song called Jigsaw. I'm going to put that over some footage of the Woody car in the forest there, so enjoy this music video coming up now as we take a little gentle stroll through the woods and find that car there with the sunlight streaming through. A couple of minutes of fun here for you, just between films. Between the main Woody feature and between part 33. Just to let you know, I'm still producing the footage, so hope you enjoy this little music clip now. Sit back and enjoy this mellow, really deep meaning song. Listen to the lyrics though, they're really great lyrics on this song. If you're not familiar with Marillion, but Jigsaw by Marillion with the Cortina in the background. Enjoy. Guys, I'm not messing around. I reckon part 33 has almost got enough footage for the hour already, with the engine build and all. We could be wrapping early. This could be another video wham bam after the next one, like the buses bunching up together, two at once. This could be it, because there's a lot of parts coming in. We've got the camshaft due any minute now, and a 10-ton truck passing us there with minimal clearance. Look at this bright May Day. This could be a turning point. The box is ready, there's an exhaust, we've got the camshaft arriving, we've got the cam belt. 33 could be wrapping already. All that footage. Oh, and our regular train stop now, as we let you join us aboard for a bit of train spotting again at our local crossing, barriers down, as we take this moment to pause and wonder what it's all about. So a little pause. Now I'm just showing low battery on the camera as this train approaches, so we've got USB in the cigarette socket of the car. I plug in, just, it's going to wobble a bit, don't worry about that. Oh, we're in. Just wait for the train to come, as the other passenger wonders why I'm pointing the camera at the level crossing. So yeah, any minute now, parcels will be here. There it goes, Pacer, 5.5, woo! Alright, some more galv parts coming in. We've got a nice selection back from Brinks Way. Everything's come out nice. We're happy. Loads more parts in stock. I think that's the last of the galvanising batch now, ladies and gentlemen. There's only one error, but this was earlier on. We left fluid inside the master cylinder and it attacked it in the packaging en route to the brake rebuilders, so we got to fail. Don't leave your fluid inside your reservoir, inside your master cylinder, because it leaks out and attacks. Luckily we had some backups, so we're okay there. More bits, more goodies, more smaller screws and bolts. We're done for galvanising now, we'll move on from that. Guys, just tightening up the cylinder head bolts now. We have in our hand the Torx wrench. I'm going off Newton meters, Torx type bolts, 35 to 40 on our first tightening sequence, and the order of tightening up is just written down on exhaust side. So 1, 2, follow the numbers there, the bolt locations. So we go 35 to 40 on the torque wrench on the Newton meter set in there, and I just go through now and just got to take the spray bar off to get to bolt 2 so we can get in there, but the rest are all clear. Let me go round, just give it a click, and on the torque spanner, and then we'll go for the second pass. So just tightening the head down now.
Murder after a car crashed onto the pavement in Times Square in New York, killing one person. 22 others were hurt yesterday. 4 people are in a critical...
A call just in. You join us in the Mondeo with a knackered spring. Can you hear that clacking? Spring's gone. Spring has gone. Still gone. Not changed it yet. Yeah, you join us for radiator pickup. Let's go and get the radiators. They're ready, so that was nice and fast. We recommend Phoenix. They're doing well for us. Good communications, kept me informed. Let's go pick the radiators up. It's like a little time warp. It weren't that long ago. On the last video we were at Phoenix. We're back. Let's get them Cortina radiators, heater matrix and main radiator. Picking up. Here we are. Guys, what a nice radiator we have here. Slightly wider than those little thin ones I've seen. So I do like that. Looks well built. That's from in from Phoenix, getting it in from FVHL. He did say he could necessarily get a better deal in the club if you're buying in bulk, but it's not very often you get people wanting to buy them in bulk, but it was a good price. Phone him to find out your prices. A nice rad. They are listed on eBay as well. You can get these. They're off the shelf items. It's this rad that's the thing that's hard to get. Okay, let's go over to the rad and have a look, because we're winding down soon this part of the video. You wouldn't believe it's finished this quick. I can't believe it. Okay, radiator. I got him to convert the spout to the right hand side. Now you might notice that's a white spout. That's the way that they build it, but it's easy to put a black heat shrink on there. When you slide the tube over, you're away. So front mount now, that's the main thing that we wanted doing, coming out the front. Detailing sticker on there, the correct radiator sticker. Rad cap's looking nice, so that fits in. It lines up perfectly with the hoses, so we know everything fits down on those heater hoses, and everything lines up with the power steering. There's loads of clearance, and that's the automatic radiator. Curious thing is that these hooks at the side, I think they were already there. I don't think he's put them in. I might ask him. These hooks to take the overflow pipe, you'd think they would have been on the other side, seeing that I've had the tube swapped, yet they're not. Now, unless he's unpicked this and swapped it over, but I don't think so. I didn't ask him to do that. They could have been there from Ford and I never noticed. So they're in the right place on the right hand side of the rad, but they changed for some reason the spout outlet to this side. When I got this rad, it was on this side. A good thing about this rad is because it's a Ford one, you get that Fomoco stamp, which you'll just about be able to see on your viewfinder there. Fomoco stamped into the header tank of the rad, just there, which I like. Just gives it another original touch. Took the cap off the Bosch Dizzy and gave it some 3-in-1 at the pivot point, so that's ready to go. We've got the cam belt and tensioner has arrived, so we can fit that if we want when we're ready nearer the time. Got to take the bottom pulley off to fit it, but that's not a problem. It went on with copper slip, and the hub puller is still on board, so no problem with that. We want to also check true top dead center. I've marked on the pulley, you can just see that white line, that might not be true top dead center. We do that, it's easy with the head off, but you can do it just through the spark plug gap, the spark plug gap, hole, socket, whatever it is called, the aperture for the spark plug. Take that out, a rod in there, and then you just measure the highest point with the piston. Don't scratch the head of the piston, of course, something plastic probably do it. In we go, and then as it hits the dwell angle, you just look if that line on the pulley is actually what it is, to get true top dead center. It might be that it isn't. You have got other markings on the pulley which you can then say they are the true dead center markings, so we can use that. Getting ready with the tappets and the followers. I say the tappets, the followers really. A new set of followers here. We're going to wait for some cam lube to arrive, and Burton's are on back order with a Kent cam, so that was a bit disappointing that it wasn't a stock item, so I'm waiting for Burton's to profile a cam and get it sent out to me. So we've got to hold our first hold up. The cam's going to hold us up. I should have been onto it earlier really. I think I would blame myself for that, because I've had plenty of opportunities to get that cam underway, and I've left it late on the cam. So mistake number one there for me in terms of my time scheduling and project planning. I could have done better. Now we hope that we can switch to other tasks. I think that we can. We're getting ready to hoist the engine up off the engine stand, because there's no advantage now to spin it upside down, so the engine stand is going to become redundant shortly. So we're going to be heading for this jig over here, and we do that by the lifting hooks which are on. We're torqued down as well, so we're okay to lift. We'll be lifting by chopping a hole through the roof of my unit, and there's an RSJ we're going to pick up with a block and tackle, and the chain's just going to come straight down over here, and we're going to block and tackle this up in the air. Okay, that's going to go up in the air, and then we'll wheel this just underneath it. Before we do that, we fit the bell housing to the back. Now this will be the bell housing off the manual box, simply being used as a brace. So we've bolted onto the when we lift the engine up, we've got to get the spigot bearing out, because the spigot bearing in the back of here, because this was a manual, it's a little bearing that fits in the back of the crankshaft, but it's pressed in. Automatics don't use that spigot, so you'd find if you didn't remove it, I think this is true, that the automatic gearbox torque converter won't fit into the end of the crank. I think spigot's only used for the manual shaft input. Sorry, I got that wrong. We come over here with the engine on the chains, resting across here, let it slot into the brackets there. Then when the gearbox arrives, we're kind of like in a position where we can maneuver things, get the gearbox bell housing bolts on, and then just so that it's supporting it, then we can let it go rest onto here with a cross member for the gearbox in place, and it'll rest onto there. Then once some bolts are in, we can then get the flex plate bolted up once it's on this jig. So on Monday we pick up the gearbox, we bring it back, we do the block and tackle, lift it, and get the whole assembly onto here. That'll use some time up. We can still do the camshaft when it's on this jig, there's not a problem with that. We might have to look at that cross member. I think that's an error again. I think that might hit the sump, so that'll have to be moved. It's not critical, we just chop it and move it along a bit. It's going to hit the sump, I think. I'm just looking at the way that works now with these engine mounts, and you see how the sump drops down. It looks like the sump won't clear it, I don't think, so we need to cut that bar out, possibly. So that's the plan for the next video, is to get that engine, so the next time you tune in for part 34 or 35, again I've forgotten, then you'll have to see the engine on here, or that will involve that process. And most probably it'll be the engine will be starting on the next vid, so watch out for the next vid. It's going to be fun because it'll be the engine run up. That'll be the title of the video, engine test. For now we leave you. let me wait for some more parts. But you saw just previously the engine roughly assembled with everything in place. Now we have the radiator, so we're good to go there. Just need to get a drain tube, some black heat shrink on there so it looks factory, because it shouldn't be plastic. Minor thing that I didn't know he was going to fit that. I assumed he was going to braze in a metal tube. It's not a big deal, so once that's on I'll be good. I think that's it. I'm going to go around and check all the torque settings. We won't be running the engine up with this Motorcraft filter. We'll save that till we've got some miles on it. This we'll just have a sacrificial filter in, a new one, because we've thrown it away after the running period. Also, what I think we can do, correct me if I'm wrong before I do this, but we can spin up the auxiliary wheel in order to pump some oil and get some oil primed into it. Do that with this drill over here with the 17mm socket on, look, and we can spin up. If I take the rad off in a minute, I'll show you what I mean. Watch this. Rad. Okay, so rad off. If I go in there, we can prime the pump that way. When oil starts to come out of the spray bar, it'll dribble out at first. We can connect the oil pressure gauge to the flexi pipe. That'll bleed out a little bit first. Let that bleed out a little bit, then connect the pressure gauge on, and then I don't want to turn this too much because it's dry at the moment, so we're going to be very careful how many turns I do with this, because the oil pump's running dry. So just letting you know that's a possibility for priming it and getting the oil up into everywhere gently. Okay, so a few ideas, but very pleased with the progress. I think I've got all the parts now. I don't think we've got any missing parts. Found that vac tube there, see that vac tube, vacuum advance tube, then pipes on. Accelerator, as we said, torque down. Just need to familiarise myself with the procedure of fitting the cam so I don't make any mistakes with fitting the cam. Looks straightforward so far anyway. And then when the gearbox comes back, we'll be filming it. We'll get the bell housing, well, the whole gearbox on and mated up. A couple of bolts around the bell housing, then get it lowered onto this stand as I just said. And then we can start with the procedure for getting it tested. I've got an exhaust system as well, just a standard steel system for now. We'll high temp paint that. A good thing with the high temp paint I found on Swampy, not any of it has burned off from the manifold downwards, so you can use it from this point on and you'll get good life out of it from that point there. Use it on here, it won't last. As soon as it gets to here, it seems to be alright. That's why I get these ceramic coated, because forget it, if you're trying to, you just end up painting them forever. You can't beat the ceramic finish. It's worth spending the money on. Also found the proper copper nuts. You've got to use these nuts, these copper ones, as opposed to just 17 steel nuts, because they'll vibrate loose. With the expansion and the contraction that you get, you'll find it has a habit of loosening your steel bolts if you fitted them. Copper ones on, and the expansion and contraction is sufficiently minimal, and the copper tends to grip and bite. So two studs, these are off eBay, these studs here, they go in quite nicely. The threads are really rich on the manifold. There they are. Just put pinto exhaust nuts, copper nuts and studs, and you'll find them. Only about £5, £2.50 each. Obviously we'll take the spark plugs out when we first crank the engine, after we've primed the oil through. We need to put some oil in it. There's the oil channel drain here at the back. We need to be very careful that no objects go down there. I'll be putting the camera inside each piston as well. We'll show you the camera, and that just convinces me nothing's got in there. No, I don't think it has, but I'm just going to do it anyway. I'll just double check everything, but really careful here that nothing falls down that oil drain channel there. And that's about it for this video. So again, we had some good responses last time. It looked like you liked the engine build, so plenty of engine footage to feast your eyes on. And just so the video doesn't run long, We are now up to an hour, I would have guessed. I'm going to make, only when I say we're up to an hour, I'm always guessing on my footage. You just, in your head, you kind of like think it feels like an hour's worth of footage. Sometimes it's 2 hours. Most times it's at least an hour, and I reckon I'm up to that. So, again, hello. No crazy stuff on this video, pretty straightforward, just to keep you up to speed. But the fun and games, I'll always put some stuff in every now and again, keep you laughing. Alright, over and out, and thanks again for watching and all the comments. If you're not subscribed, hit that button, join us, and I hope you liked the Marillion song and video of the car. There is another video of that car without any sound effects on, just of the pure footage, and an interview with me talking about the car in the woods. If you've not seen it, it's abandoned Mk3 GXL. Scroll down my videos, you'll see it there. Over and out, good night, hope you enjoyed. Look forward soon, sometime, probably in June, beginning of July, when you'll see this fired up. Good night for now. Over and out from Cortina City. Oh, fast one, 70 mile an hour job that was. Nice, 70 mile an hour. Ooh, fast part of the track.